Right, okay, let's talk about transfers. It is now January, the window is open, and the rumours are flowing in already, and I want to make a video today talking about some of the players that Arsenal have been linked with, and also, let's talk about the current squad. What changes do we want to make? Not just players coming in, but also maybe some players that can leave. I think it's fair to say that we've got a few players at the club that maybe shouldn't be here. However, with Arteta coming in, and you've seen players like Xhaka, for example, looking completely different under his system, maybe it's not a great time to be so judgmental on players that maybe haven't been performing this season under Unai Emery. Now that Arteta's come in, can he re-establish proper communication with these players and actually help them and make them work in this system we're using? Defensively, it's our biggest problem. We have so many issues defensively, or we've had so many issues defensively this season. With Arteta's new system and the tactics we were using, we looked a bit more solid, but I think that stems from the midfield. I think it's very clear that Arteta has asked Torreira to sit back a little bit more, not be so adventurous and going forward like Unai Emery asked him to do, practically playing him as a cam. I still want to strangle a little cat because of that, but it's also Granit Xhaka and Torreira in partnership, and Guendouzi when he comes on, or Willock. And I think that's really what's improved our defensive capabilities. It's not actually the defenders. We've now got an injury to Chambers. He is going to be out until next season. Minimum of 6 to 9 months with an ACL injury. So wish him all the best. It's awful. It always seems to happen when players start getting into some good form. The thing is, though, we all knew we needed a centre-back. It was so obvious. It just makes it more important now that potentially we bring in two. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Saliba. I've seen a lot of people questioning whether we're going to bring him back, recall him. Now, as far as I'm aware, and I've done quite a lot of research, I can't see any articles, quotes, whatever you're looking for, to say that we've got something in the contract to even recall him. But if you look at Saliba's season so far, he's had multiple injuries himself. Yes, he's played a few games and looked pretty good, but he's not the solution. Let's all be honest. He's 18 years old. He's still so young. And I don't think recalling him is enough. Sure, why not? If you can, it makes sense, seeing as Chambers is now injured for the rest of the season. But we still need to invest in a centre-back. And the first player we have been linked with is Jerome Boateng of Bayern Munich. As little as £13 million could be enough to secure his signature. And I just don't know how to feel about this one. Boateng, for me, about maybe 5 seasons to 3 seasons ago, when he was in his prime, he was undoubtedly one of the best defenders in the world. He was unbelievably good. Winning World Cups with Germany. Of course, Bayern Munich were winning everything domestically and winning Champions Leagues as well. But since then, now he's 31, and yeah, I'm not so sure it excites me. But you've got to look at it. You've got to look outside the box, haven't you? You're looking at a 31-year-old that, yes, is a bit injury-prone, that, yes, has gone past his best, but loads of experience. He would be very, very cheap. For that kind of player, £13 million in this market is an absolute steal, although the wages will probably be pretty high. But also, the elite winning mentality that a player like that has. He will get respect in the changing room. I can imagine in training he'll be offering loads of tips to all the young players. And I think that's invaluable. You can't really buy that these days for less than 20 million, 30 million. I mean, Jerome Boateng has won it all. If it happens, then it's relatively risk-free because he is so cheap. It's not going to break the bank. It's not like we're investing 50 million in a player that's past it. 13 million, we recover that in a couple of weeks. It's not really a massive deal, but is he what we need? Personally, I would really expect something a little bit more exciting and someone that's going to be here for long-term future. I'm talking 23 to 25 years old, already with lots of experience at the top of their game, because what you're going to get with Boateng is a player for a season or two, and then he'll drift away. And he'll probably do an okay job. He will make mistakes. He will probably cost us a few goals with the lack of pace, but he will bring a lot to the team outside of just the footballing ability he has. But I would like to sign someone like, and I'm throwing his name out there because I saw a post on Instagram from himself, and that is Umtiti. He is, of course, a Barcelona player that can barely get in their first team because of all the injuries, and also he's probably not quite good enough. He's huge friends with Lacazette, and he was at the Emirates against Manchester United. He was there in the crowd, and he put a picture out on Instagram saying that he's in the Emirates. Now, I'm not going to read too much into that because he's big mates with Lacazette. Apparently, they've been shooting some commercials in London together, and he was probably just around. But that is the caliber of signing I would like to see. And most importantly, I've got to say this. We are desperate for a left-footed centre-back. I think that would be one of the best moves we could make. A centre-back that can play on the left side. We don't have any left-footed centre-backs except from Zek Medley, I believe. So really, you need that. A lot of the best teams in the world all have two centre-backs. One's right-footed and plays on the right, and one's left-footed and plays on the left. Of course, there are exceptions. You look at Real Madrid. Ramos is right-footed, plays as the left centre-back. But most big teams like to have that balance. Even if it's not Umtiti, I would love to see us go in for a left-footed centre-back, and I really feel like he could be the replacement for Koscielny, and hopefully someone that can be around for just as long as Koscielny was. I think Umtiti would be a great choice. He has been linked with Arsenal for many years. Apparently he was almost joining Arsenal, but went to Barcelona instead. He's friends with Lacazette. He would, I think, fit into our system very well because he's a very good player on the ball. He's got a great pass on him. And I've heard that if we do go for a move like that, it would be a loan for the rest of the season with an option to buy. Again, I've used this word in this episode already, and that's risk. How much risk is involved in a move like that? You've got a player that's out of favour at arguably the biggest club in the world, Barcelona. But if you're loaning him in, let's say he's on 150 grand per week, which is probably about what he'll get. You pay that for the rest of the season. Maybe he doesn't work out and you just end the loan. Or it works out really well and you pay the optional fee, which I guess would be between 50 and 70 million, something like that. I honestly feel like that's what we should be looking into. Imagine if we got Umtiti on loan with an option to buy and we bought another centre-back, whether it's Boateng, whether it's Upamecano, another player that we're linked with, or if we recall Saliba. Now, another player that has been linked to Arsenal, and again, it's another player that we've been linked to many times before, is Thomas Lemar, who has undoubtedly flopped at Atletico Madrid. It was a massive signing from Monaco. He was incredible in France. A really creative midfielder that can play on the wing, can play down through the middle, and can also play as a central midfielder, which I know Arteta will love about this guy. But it just hasn't worked over in Spain. It's not the first time that Simeone has somehow managed to ruin a creative attacking player because he's a very defensive coach, and there's nothing wrong with that. Lamar was linked back in, I can't remember what year it was. It might have been 17, and we were looking at £90 million. You might think I'm mental, but I'm almost glad that he's flopped over in Spain because now his price is not going to be anywhere near that, but he still has that raw talent. Surely there's still that player in there. And Arteta apparently is a big fan of Lamar because he is so versatile. And again, it could be a loan with an option to buy because Atletico Madrid are desperate for a striker, apparently. They want to sign a striker and they need to offload Lamar to make it happen. Now, going back to players that might be leaving, let's talk about Granit Xhaka because he was reportedly going to Hertha Berlin for around 35 to 40 million euros. However, Arteta has come out and said in a press conference in the last 24 hours that Xhaka is staying, that Xhaka wants to stay, and that Arteta sees him as part of the plans. Now, I really think that's a good idea. I think it would be potentially a massive mistake to sell him after these first few games where you've seen he's definitely more capable in this system. However, there is still a player there that is questionable, and I'm not too sure if we will regret not selling him because that's quite a lot of money. Now, it's difficult because a month ago I would have bitten your hand off and said, yes, please take Xhaka. But now that Arteta's here, and now that he clearly has Xhaka in his plans, I want to see where that goes. So selling a player probably isn't worth it at this point when we might have a use for him. However, being linked with a move here in his position, of course, is Rabiot. Now, Rabiot is a very similar player to Xhaka. Quite a powerful, taller, physical player, left-footed. He's got a great pass on him. He moved to Juventus at the start of the season for free from PSG, by the way. He left on a free contract, or his contract ran down at PSG, and I don't even want to know how much Juventus paid him and his agent to join. But it hasn't worked out. I believe he's got less than 10 appearances or something. So it's an unbelievably bad situation for Rabiot to be in because they've got so much competition there, and he wants out, apparently. Now, Arteta, I think, has said multiple times in the past that he likes Rabiot and actually wanted to bring him to Man City. Xhaka was also on that list, funnily enough, and now wants to bring in Rabiot on loan from Juventus. However, the reports are that Juventus still see Rabiot as a key player and therefore probably will not let him leave. And now, finally, the last topic of this video is Upamecano. Now, it's painful when you wake up and go on Twitter, social media, and see that Upamecano's being linked with a move to Madrid and that he wants to leave. However, he has come out and said in an interview to some sort of French media group, I can't remember the name of them, apologies for that, but he has said right now he's staying at Arsenal. He did say, though, however, for now, I'm an Arsenal player and I'm staying. So it's good and it's bad because he could have used better terminology there. It would have been nice to see him say, I'm hugely proud to play for Arsenal and I'm here, I'm staying. Instead of adding in those words, for now. That makes me think that it's very possible that he, in his head, has said, right, this season is the last season for me if things don't improve. Because he will know, and we all know, Upamecano is our best player by quite some distance at the moment, and he can walk into any side. Why stay at Arsenal if we end up finishing in 10th? Why stay at Arsenal if we cannot get the new manager to work with the system? I guarantee you in his head, he has said, right, I'll give it to the end of the season. If we're in the top 6 or the top 5 or the top 4, then maybe I'll stay. But if we don't get back on track, then there's no point me being here. Then I think he'll leave. And it will be an absolute disaster. We absolutely have to keep Upamecano because if he leaves, God, that would be... That's worse than not signing anyone. In my opinion, Upamecano is the most vital signing we can make. A new contract needs to be signed. Give him the money he needs to make him say yes, even though I know he's already on a lot of money. But if we're paying Mesut 350k, I'm sure we can throw Upamecano 250, you know, something like that. And so he can keep up the costs of his cars and all his wraps that he has. Honestly, Upamecano is a fantastic player, though, and losing him would be an absolute shocker. And we've gone through these situations with Ramsey, and no, we need to sort that out before anything. But now the window is open, there's going to be plenty of these videos, so make sure you subscribe and make sure you don't miss any of these because I'll keep you up to date on players that we are linked with. Of course, it's a bit of fun. It is rumours only. I cannot and will never say that I know for a fact that something's happening because I'm not part of Arsenal. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing online in these videos so you guys can just watch a video instead of searching yourself, you know. But to be fair, most of these rumours are plastered all over the papers and online, so I'm sure you'll bump into the articles and stuff like that, and then you'll just hear my opinions instead. But Arsenal have big work to do. We've got a game on Monday against Leeds, funnily enough, because Eddie Nketiah has just come back from his loan. I don't know what's going to happen to Nketiah. Maybe he's going to go loan. He's going to be loaned out again. Apparently Brentford want him, I think it was. But wouldn't it be brilliant if we brought him back and played him against Leeds? I don't know if that's even possible, but it would be pretty awesome. That's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.